So I saw a snippet of Chris Brown on Drink Champs with Nori. And, Nori basically asked him about street politics in LA and Los Angeles. And to me, it appeared that Chris Brown was trying to justify his set claiming. Right? It almost seemed like he was trying to allude to him being a blood due to the fact that he'd been in LA since he was 15 years old. And then he also tried to say it seemed like he was saying he doesn't condone or understand the senseless, stupid stuff in gangbanging, but he claiming the hood, right? It seemed like he was saying he claiming the hood just because that's his people and, he been around them, so on and so forth. First of all, I want to say this regarding Chris Brown saying he doesn't condone or understand the senseless stuff in gangbanging. He came across as saying he just want to rep the hood because that's his people and that's it. Chris is speaking from the position of a multi-millionaire repping a gang, right? Chris not speaking from a dude that was really immersed in the trenches. A dude that really grew up in gangbanging, that really grew up in the street. He really grew up in a gangbanging neighborhood, right? He not speaking from a dude who really was immersed in the trenches, who grew up in certain neighborhoods. Listen. Unless you are a multi-millionaire in a gang, you cannot be in a gang without participating in some form of violence in some way, right? Now, you don't have to be a killer per se, because I know dudes that's not killers, but you got to put in some work for people to respect you enough where you can claim the block without being treated like a goofy, right? Or without being treated like an errand boy in a gang. You got to put in some type of work. You got to put in some type of violence in some type of way. So all that I ain't with the senseless stuff, and that only makes sense to dudes who are rich gangbangers, right? Lil Wayne, Soulja Boy, Chris Brown, them dudes like that really started claiming a set of claiming a hood when they got famous and when they got rich. You know what I mean? Which is hustling backwards. Furthermore, him being in LA since he was 15, that don't make sense. That don't justify him gangbanging because he was living in Hollywood and had a $1 million record deal at the time. I've been in LA since I was 15, brother. That is ridiculous for him to try to justify him being in a gang because he been in LA since he was 15. Brother, you are from Virginia. Before you received any type of affluence, you were in Virginia. And when you got to LA in Hollywood, you were on $1 million deal. It was not necessary for him to join a gang as a rich kid. Nothing was necessary about that. It was ridiculous for him to get famous, for him to achieve that amount of success and then want to attach himself to a street organization. It made no sense then, and it still don't make no sense to this day. I don't care how he tries to dress it up, what he tries to say. It made no sense for him to be joining a gang. He was actually hustling backwards because all them dudes are doing is extorting Chris Brown. He's getting extorted. I'm sorry. He's getting extorted. Point blank period. He think he doing something else and they love me and all that. Nah, brother, they want that money. Chris Brown is a blood bank, no pun intended. They are draining him dry. Listen, you want to claim the hood? You got to pay for this, you got to pay for that. He's funding all of their activities and functions and whatever going on in their hood, he's funding in order to rep that block. Because he ain't from there and Chris ain't put in no work to be no real blood, right? To me, when I see Chris associate himself with the Bloods and street or gang life, I see a young man that's just dying to be a part of something to appear cool. Even at this grown-ass age of his, Chris is dying to attach himself to something to seem real to other people, right? I think Chris was the type of individual that felt like, if I join a gang, I'll look real. I'll look like a real one in a world where R&B singers are portrayed as soft, right? I'll be a real one to the street dudes or the young dudes in my culture, in my era, if I attach myself to gangbanging. So I want to look like a real one. I want to look like I'm legit or a solid dude. I got to stand next to these dudes and be in a gang for people to look at me as solid, especially living in LA. He thought that was the best move for himself to make, to seem cool, to be accepted. That's it. Chris wanted to be in a gang. He wanted to rep a gang to give him a look, for street dudes to look at him as certified. That's it. Chris also joined the gang. He joined the Bloods for young, simple-minded women to like him and think he was super tough, because in that age, young, simple-minded girls think they look at street dudes and they like street dudes. They like little tough little street dudes that's attractive to them. Simple-minded women, simple-minded girls are attracted to young street dudes. So Chris wanted to associate himself with that, and he took that and ran with it. You can't convince me otherwise, which is absolutely stupid in my opinion, because you're Chris Brown. Women are gonna like you regardless, right? You're on every TV screen, you're at every award show, you're successful, you make great music, you're an amazing, outstanding performer. You were gonna get women anyway. But he wanted a crowd, he wanted acceptance from a certain crowd of women. He wanted to be looked at in an ilk as the dudes in the street that get love, which is it blurred lines. Brother, that's not you, right? But the problem with Chris is, I look at Chris, because I can't imagine myself achieving a certain amount of success, working super hard to get to a certain level, get to the pinnacle, and then looking back and say, you know what? I want to be in a gang too. Let me go back and go be in a gang. Let me go back and go claim a set. For what? Like, it's just, again, that's hustling backwards. Chris became influenced by LA gang culture like little kids everywhere around the world when they watched Colors back in the day, right? He got influenced by that gang culture when he got out there, and because he is super impressionable, right? He got influenced just like little suburban kids all across America got influenced by gang culture in my city of Chicago, Illinois. Like the young suburban kids got influenced by drill culture. That's how he got influenced by LA gang culture, man. And it's sad to see. Because like I said before, Chris didn't grow up in a poverty-stricken, gang-infested area in California. He didn't turn to that because that was in his everyday surroundings. That shit was far from his surroundings, right? Not far from his surroundings, but he wasn't living in that. He didn't have to live in that. He didn't have to be immersed in that. Like, he joined the gang to be accepted. That's it. He wanted to feel some type of authenticity, to be street and want to be tough, and he's so like, let me align myself with that. When I look at Chris Brown, I look and see that young man has a lot of insecurities within himself that he's battling on a day-to-day basis. And again, he was and still is a very impressionable person. Seriously, he's influenced by all that stuff. It's influenced. He's influenced by that, and you can see it. And when you look at him, how he talks, how he carries himself, he want to be a young street dude, just like John Moran is dying to be a young street dude. He want to be the same thing, Chris. It's just that he has some OGs willing to stamp his name and say we vouching for him and so on and so forth. And the only reason they vouching for him is because he funding all the shit that's going on in their block. Right? He probably bailing dudes out of jail left and right, sending money for this, sending money for that, paying for a whole bunch of grown-ass men that refuse to work, all because he want to claim a set and appear as thorough. Seriously, like, you know what I'm saying? But he's a super impressionable person, which is why I believe, like, it appears that, from watching that Drink Champs snippet in certain clips, he got to be still doing drugs, coke or something, twitching and all of that, you know, moving around fidgety. He seems to be struggling to find his own personal identity. Even as an uber successful millionaire, he's having a problem finding his own identity. So he chose to align himself with a gang to make himself look like he's, like, you know what I'm saying, like he's some tough ass dude or something like that, to make him look like I'm solid. Instead of just standing on his own principles and morals and values and just being an upstanding regular citizen, he want to be a street dude to seem like he real and official. Like, Chris, every time I see these interviews and shit, when he in these videos and these certain little clips of him claiming a gang and all that, and people call him Brisk Brown, Brisk Breezy, you know, put the B's in front, shit is comical to me. He desires respect from the streets and simple-minded women because he got all these insecurities about himself. He got all these insecurities about himself that money, status, or women cannot hide. All these insecurities, that women and all that, it can't hide those insecurities. I see it on him like a mile away. And he think that, oh, like I'm standing next to a street dude, make him look real tough away. Make him look like a grown-ass goofy. Like when I see dudes that like Lil Wayne and them, that become gang members, they look like grown-ass clowns, goofies to me. You wait till you're a grown man, just try to claim a set and gangbang. This shit it don't make no sense. But again, due to his desire to be accepted by these street dudes, he out here getting extorted. And he probably been getting extorted since his late teens, like 19 or something around that era, when I saw him trying trying to like shift or drift away from the dancing image to the gang banging, throwing up signs, throwing up hoods and shit and all that. It's just like corny shit. It reminds me of a girl who grew up in the suburbs, and then when she get around street dudes, she gets so giddy and so excited she don't know what to do. It's so, oh my God, it's just so cool to her. She lose her fucking mind and let them street dudes turn her out. And then she gets to a point of no return where regular dudes on the block, regular dudes that she may have, used to date or whatever, they're not attracted to her no more. And the street dudes use her ass up. Chris out there getting used up like a motherfucker. And I'm looking at him like, this dude don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know he financing every single thing for them. And he getting played like a goofy, like a pawn. And again, he's allowing that to happen so he can be looked at as solidified. Brother, why you can't just be a regular dude? Why they can't accept you and love you for being Chris Brown? You know what I'm saying? Why they can't love you for being yourself? Why you want to seek love like by being street or something? It don't make sense to me. That's like me coming in and trying to be a part of the BDs and GDs when I get successful. I've been in Chicago all my life. I deviated away from it. I stayed away from it. I stayed in my own lane, stayed in my own square. And I was comfortable just being a good kid in a mad city. It was what it was, right? I was comfortable with that. For me to get famous and want to associate myself with a gang, people gonna look at me like, look at this clown out ass dude. Look at his ass. Clown, lame as hell. That's how I would look. You know what I'm saying? But they can fly. I guess, they cool with letting them claim the hood so extort them. I'm going to tell you right now, if he was in Chicago, Illinois, he wouldn't be claiming shit. Not nothing. They would just extort him and take all his money from him. All his money. They would be ripping his pockets off. But he ain't claiming not a goddamn thing on the block. They don't care who you is. You ain't claiming no set. Because you ain't put in nothing. But they will happily extort you. They will happily take all your money. They will happily have you fund a lot of their crazy behavior. They will happily have you fund a lot of their functions that they want to do. They will happily let you bring some girls around and then pay them some bread and all that. Yeah. You can hang around them for a fee, but you ain't claiming the hood. But Chris is claiming the hood, and the OGs are allowing it and accepting it. So he like, shit, I am that. And so he take it to another level, thinking it like his ass, I promise you. He acting like, I don't even know no famous blood, nothing like that. Well, he acting like he Tukey Williams, a blood version of Tukey Williams. I be feeling like he be wanting to be that. He want to live in that ilk. And again, it don't make no sense because he's rich and famous. He was going to get girls anyway. Why are you looking to get accepted by street dudes for? If they don't accept you for you know what I'm saying? I was accepted by street dudes for being me. Just being a regular everyday dude that stayed in my lane, know who I was and understand what I'm not. Cool, I'm just a dude that likes sports, like pretty girls. I just like to have wear nice little clothes and all that. I like to talk about sports. That's it. I like to go to school, get good grades, all of that. I went to college, and they accepted me off of that. I ain't think, let me be street to be cool. Like, nah, bro. He don't have a mind for himself. He didn't then, and I still don't think he really probably does now, which is why he probably doing them drugs and all that, because he is super impressionable. And I hope whoever's with him gets him on the right path from him being a lost soul, because I don't know, man. Y'all seen them clips, man. Chris looked like he be on that stuff, and it ain't making no better that, maybe that gang lifestyle got him feeling like he invincible and shit. I don't know. But yeah, man, like I think Chris Brown repping a gang, repping the Bloods is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And maybe it's not for me to understand, but I've been around gang culture all my life in Chicago. I seen it, man. I seen dudes like Chris. I seen dudes that were just like Chris, regular dudes that just like to have fun, have a good time. They were probably good at sports, or maybe could dance real good. They was in these little Chicago little dance groups, Final Phase back in the day and all of that. They was, doing the footwork stuff. They was dancing, all of that. They were cool dudes. And then they got to school and saying, oh my God, these other girls like street dudes, right? All the street dudes in school, they get a lot of the respect. And they went over to their route, tried to became street dudes, and then they ended up in some bullshit they could never get out of, right? A lot of them doing jail time right now, doing hard jail time, and did it when we were 19, 20, right? I'm 29 now. Some of them went to jail, we was 19, they still in there. 10 years. 10 years later, you know what I mean? All because they were dying for acceptance from from street dudes. Dying for acceptance from the block. But like, why they can't accept you for being you? But yeah, I seen dudes just like Chris Brown every single day at my school. A lot of them locked up. Some of them sadly are deceased because they chose to associate themselves with a lifestyle that they never should have been a part of in the first place, man. But because they were so afraid of being looked at as lame or corny or not authentic or, you know what I'm saying, a square, they were willing to do anything to get that label off of them. Even if it meant joining a gang, even if it means shooting guns, even if it meant possibly hurting or killing somebody, they did it in order to be looked at and validated. But what good is validation if you're in a grave or you behind bars? What good is validation? You behind bars, them dudes that's validating you, they ain't writing your ass. If you die, they not giving your family no money. A majority of them not. They not coming to see your mama, ask your mama how you doing, and help her grieve on days where she's, she maybe can't handle it on Mother's Day or something like that. They not helping. They not coming back on your birthday to check on her. You get locked up, they ain't, man. Them dudes trying to have sex with your lady. They trying to get with your woman. The same dudes that was validating and stamping you, they trying to have sex with your lady the day you go to jail or the next day after that when they know you're going to be there for a long ass time. So what good is hood validation? But Chris, again, he was impressionable back then, super impressionable now, and he's struggling to find his identity. He want to be a part of something so bad, he joined something destructive. Why can't brothers put their minds together to put all that energy into something effective that is not destructive to the black community to help uplift our children and put them in better positions to succeed and be prosperous in life? I will never understand that. And Chris Brown can do it because he's in position to do so. It's crazy, y'all. Peace.